Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Pheno Field here in Milford, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call as we bring you another installment of Scarlet Hawks baseball. This evening, the Scarlet Hawks take on a rival from the Davenport division in the Mansfield Hornets. And the game getting underway a little bit ahead of schedule, or perhaps a lot of ahead of schedule if you didn't get the last-minute update on the time change. As this was originally a 7 p.m. scheduled start, moved up to a 6 p.m. start earlier today. And when all is said and done, getting underway at around 5:55, and we already have the first out of the ball game as Milford starting pitcher Anthony LaPierre records a strikeout of Wyatt Bolduc, and that is how this game gets started. We'll, of course, get you caught up on starting lineups and everything else you need to know in between the top and bottom of this first inning. So we are just getting underway for all of you tuning in to our live stream over at youtube.com/MyMilfordTV. Once again, bringing you the coverage live via our YouTube channel. And so it is the Scarlet Hawks taking on the Mansfield Hornets. One out in this top of the first inning. And Anthony LaPierre, the starter for the Scarlet Hawks. Wyatt Bolduc, the first batter of the inning, striking out. Now Sam Martin, the third baseman, in on the right side. And he drives the ball out into left center field. A tumbling play for Jacob Grove out in center field, but he couldn't hold on. And Martin's going to wind up at second base. Grove had a long way to go into the left center gap, nearly pulled off a dazzling play, but that ball went in and out of his glove. Hard to rule an error there, a very high degree of difficulty, so we'll give Martin the benefit of the hit, and it will go in the books as a double. And with one out, The Hornets have a runner in scoring position for now the shortstop, Matt DeShiro. Plenty of chatter now out of the visitors' dugout as Mansfield smells a first inning rally. This is our second look of the season at Anthony LaPierre. He started the only other Scarlet Hawks baseball game we've covered for you so far on the season a couple of weeks ago against North Attleboro. As here, DeShiro pops one up out into shallow left. Another diving play out into shallow left field, and they're going to say no catch there either. It was trapped by Nick Koch out into shallow left center. So a couple of well-placed balls into the outfield here for Mansfield early has put now 2 runners aboard with only 1 out. Runners at first and second now. And so now the designated hitter, Jacob Madak, up at the plate. A double on a ball that was nearly caught by Grove in center. And then a single that was just out of the reach of Koch in very shallow left, just beyond the infield dirt. Breaking ball that cut back towards the plate for a called strike. Nice pitch from LaPierre. Suddenly in a jam in this top of the first. Runners leading away from first and second base. And this pitch comes in, and right now the coaching staff in the Millford dugout screaming foul ball. That certainly sounded like it made contact with the bat. The umpires are going to get together now, a 2-man crew here. So getting another look at it on our live stream feed. It did appear that the ball made contact with the bat, and that is ultimately going to be the call here for the umpiring crew. So they keep Madak up at the plate now with a count of no balls and 2 strikes, and this would be a good time for LaPierre to record his first strikeout. The runners back to first and second base. Martin at second, DeShiro at first. And now the 0-2 pitch, and it's a tapper down the third base line, foul. Defensively for the Scarlet Hawks here tonight, it is Keith Lee behind the plate, Joey McGee at third, Louis Consigli at short, Tony Fontes at second, and Damian Carter at first. Left to right in the outfield, it is Nick Koch, Jacob Grove, and Nate Scudo. Bit of a different looking lineup and defensive alignment from what we saw a couple of weeks ago. As this ball is now carved down the right field line, that is foul, out of the reach of Scudo in right. Just now past the hour of 6 p.m. as the church bells chime out just off in the distance. Gray skies overhead as we get this game started. It was sunny as we were setting things up about an hour or so ago, but the clouds have rolled in. Chance of a shower as this game goes along, hoping that we stay mostly precipitation free. Meanwhile, Jacob Madak putting on a very tough at bat here. It is still an 0-2 count, but a lot of foul balls here for Madak to stay alive. Both of these teams with 6 wins on the season. Millford at 6-3, Mansfield at 6-4. Here's another 0-2 pitch, and that one stays a little bit upstairs. Madak lays off, and the count goes to 1-2. Number 4 hitter in the Mansfield order, batting with 1 down and 2 aboard. Lights on here at Fino. Here comes a 1-2 pitch, and another foul ball hit down the right field side. This will twist off into the crowd. The most heavily populated area for the spectators here at Fino Field tonight. A lot of fans over in the bleachers just down the right field line from the first base dugout. Other fans set up in lawn chairs down the right field side, as well as a smattering of fans around behind home plate, but the bulk of the action is down that right field side for the spectators. Another 1-2 pitch, and this one is dropped down the third base line. Again, kicking foul, and this has been a lengthy at bat here for Madak. Really making LaPierre work here. Brian Butler, the center fielder, waiting on deck. And about to see yet another 1-2 pitch. And that's a little bit off the outside edge. Not missing by very much, and now the count even at 2-2 strikes. Quite a disciplined approach here to this at-bat for Jacob Madak. Now a 2-2 pitch, and it's sliced foul to the backstop. And this at-bat has the Mansfield dugout absolutely roaring. This at-bat now into double digits of pitches seen. Leads for the Mansfield runners at first and second base, and now timeout called at the plate as we get a little cat and mouse here between LaPierre and Madak. LaPierre with a look down to second, now fires into the plate and deals it too far inside, and from an 0-2 count, Madak has run this full. Three balls, 2 strikes. A payoff pitch upcoming here to Jacob Madak, and it is sliced out to shallow left field for a base hit. They will wave Martin around from second base. He will score, and an epic at bat pays off with an RBI single for Jacob Madak. And that allows Mansfield to strike first in this game. They take a 1-0 lead. Well, you could just see that coming. Madak just was not going to be denied in that at-bat, fouling off pitch after pitch. He was down early 0-2, worked the count back full, and then ultimately found a pitch he could handle and sent it through the left side of the infield for an RBI base hit. It remains runners at first and second base with one down, and now Brian Butler, the left-handed batter, up. And Mansfield fully engaged here right away in the top of the first. The lead runner now is Matt Toshiro at second base. He does some dancing and draws the attention of LaPierre. And now the pitch into Butler is fouled over the backstop and out of play. Ball, 1 strike count. And now this ball is lifted in the air out again to left center field. The cap comes flying off of Koch, as this time he's able to squeeze it for out number 2. None of these outs, none of these balls put into the outfield have been exactly routine, but there Millford able to make the play. Holds the runners at first and second base now with 2 down in the inning, and the 6th batter in the Mansfield order coming to the plate in the person of Luke Rogan, playing first base tonight. Again, we'll give you the complete Mansfield lineup in between innings. Again, Mansfield, I should say Millford, very cognizant of that runner at second base. LaPierre now will come to the plate and deals in a called strike one. A 1 pitch. Took something off of that one and got a swing and a miss. As Rogan falls behind in the count, 0-2. LaPierre looking to minimize the damage in this first inning. He's allowed a run, but now about to deliver the 0-2 pitch, and it's sent foul, sending some fans ducking for cover behind the first base dugout, and it stays 0-2. So what will we see here out of Rogan? Down 0-2. Will it be anything like his teammate Jacob Madak? Stands at first base after driving in the Mansfield run in the inning. Instead, here we see an off-balance swing and a miss from Rogan. He goes down on strikes. 2 Ks in the inning for LaPierre, but victimized by that lengthy at-bat by Madak that resulted in an RBI single that gives Mansfield an early 1-0 lead. So again, we'll keep it right here in between innings as we settle in officially to the broadcast. Again, we want to welcome in everyone joining us, whether you're tuning in on our live stream over on YouTube or you're checking the game out after the fact on YouTube, on our Millford TV educational channel, or any of our other platforms. We're so happy to have you joining us for another installment of Scarlet Hawks athletics during the spring sports season. We're here at Pheno Field covering a varsity baseball matchup between the Scarlet Hawks and the visiting Mansfield Hornets. We just saw the Hornets come to the plate, but let's give you their full starting lineup. Leading it off in right field, Wyatt Bolduc. The third baseman, Sam Martin, bats second, with Matt DeShiro, the shortstop, batting third. Jacob Madak, who had the RBI in the inning, bats cleanup and is your designated hitter, with the center fielder, Brian Butler, batting fifth. Luke Rogan bats sixth and plays first base, with the left fielder, Anthony Cervea, batting seventh. Batting eighth is the catcher, Aiden Jones, and in the ninth spot is the second baseman, Drew Urban. And for the Scarlet Hawks, their lineup looks like this. Lewis Consigli leads it off at shortstop. The first baseman, Damian Carter, bats second, with Keith Lee catching and batting third. Evan Cornelius is the designated hitter, batting cleanup, with Joey McGee, the third baseman, batting fifth. Nick Koch plays left field and bats sixth, with Nate Scudo playing right field tonight, batting seventh. In the eighth spot is the center fielder, Jacob Grove, and batting ninth tonight is the second baseman, Tony Fontes. Your pitching matchup in this game tonight, Anthony LaPierre surrendering a run on 3 hits in the top half of the first inning, and he is opposed on the Mansfield side by the right-hander Ryan Jeans, finishing up his warm-up tosses. Neither pitcher in the lineup tonight, so each side employing the DH. So we will see Consigli, Carter, and Lee here in the top half of the first inning, and already now Lewis Consigli about to stand in. Consigli, the sophomore, inserted into this leadoff spot, takes a called strike one as this bottom of the first inning gets underway. Off-speed pitch is sent on the ground on the third base side. That's a fair ball deep over there in the corner. Sam Martin trying to rush that throw, but did not get it there in time, and it's an infield base hit for Consigli. Martin had to go a long way to his right, deep behind the third base bag. Was able to keep that ball on the infield, but really no chance to make the play. Consigli running hard down that first base line, so he is rewarded with an infield base hit. Leadoff man aboard now for the Scarlet Hawks, with now Damian Carter at the dish. Carter takes a called strike as the count evens at 1-1. Millford once again in their home whites with the red pinstripes. Mansfield sporting green uniform tops. Count now 1-2 on Carter. Defensively for the Hornets, it is Aiden Jones behind the plate, Sam Martin at third, Matt Tashiro at short, Drew Urban at second, and Luke Rogan at first. Left to right in the outfield, Anthony Sarvea, Brian Butler, and Wyatt Bolduc. As Consigli takes off for second base, gets in with a head-first slide, no throw down. So a theft of second base for Consigli, and now a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Carter. Check that pronunciation on the left fielder for Mansfield, Anthony Saraiva. My apologies. Saraiva in left for the Hornets. It's a 3-2 count now to Carter, who takes that pitch up and away for ball 4. Milford works the walk, pushes the tying run into scoring position, the go-ahead run at first, and now Milford trying to create a first-inning run-scoring opportunity. Keith Lee about to stand in on the right side. The last time we covered this team, Milford rallied against North Attleboro. They were down in that game early 4-0 and ultimately came back thanks in large part to Lee here, who sends a ground ball to shortstop. Into the hole goes Deshiro. He flips to third base, and they end up getting the force play there. Looks like there was a little bit of a bobble there for Martin, but he was able to secure it in time to record the out on Consigli as he was advancing to third. And that was a heads-up play for Deshiro. Really no chance traveling deep into the hole there at shortstop to turn around and make the throw to first. So he makes the wise move and is able to cut down the runner at third base on a force play. So Lee ends up reaching on a fielder's choice. Continues to be runners at first and second now with one down, and Evan Cornelius tries to shoot this ball the opposite way. He does. It sneaks through the right side of the infield. Bolduc was able to get to it quickly, and so they hold that runner at third base. Cornelius, first pitch swinging, just went with the pitch and dropped it through the right side for an opposite field single. And so the bases are now loaded for the Hawks with one out. Joey McGee getting his first at bat. He stands in on the right side. Pressure pitches now here for Jeans, who sends the pitch up and away for ball 1. Carved foul. Caught the fans in the stands behind the plate by surprise. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. A Milford runner at every base. Mansfield has their infield in tight at the corners. Play a double play depth up the middle. One the count on McGee. Here's the pitch. And this is sent out to shallow left field, dropping quickly, and it's down for a base hit. 1 run will score for the Hawks. They hold Lee up at third base as Mansfield gets the throw back in quickly. An RBI single for Joey McGee, and very quickly, this game is tied up at 1. Damian Carter scores. The base is now reloaded here. Lee at third, Cornelius at second, and now McGee at first. So both teams able to generate some first inning offense. Nick Koch now the 6th batter in the Milford order to come to the plate in this inning, left-handed hitter against the right-handed tossing Ryan Jeans. That's the first pitch in for strike 1. This pitch drops in. It gets away from the catcher, and here comes Lee in from third base to score. That dropped in front of home plate and then took a hard turn over towards the third base side. All the way to the backstop, and no problem for Lee to score. Comes in on the wild pitch, and that allows Millford to jump on top here, 2-1. And meanwhile, Nick Koch now down to first base, so I'm not sure if at the end of the day they said that was a hit by pitch. Big rip for Nate Scudo. Comes up empty for strike one, so looks like we'll take the wild pitch away, as I believe the call there was a hit by pitch on Koch. But regardless, it is a 2-1 lead for the Hawks. The bases are loaded once again, with now Cornelius, the lead runner, at third. Scudo fights that pitch-off foul over to the on-deck hitter. He is down in an 0-2 hole. Jacob Grove is that on-deck hitter. Scudo trying to hang tough now. The 0-2 pitch comes in, and he watches it grab the outside part of the plate for a called strike three. It's the first strikeout in the game for Ryan Jeans. It comes at a good time, brings the second out of the inning, holds these runners at bay for the moment. Still loaded up for Millford with 2 outs now. Grove, the number 8 hitter, takes the first pitch strike. We didn't see Grove in the lineup when we covered our first Millford baseball action of the season. Takes a look at that pitch, low and outside. Both starters have had to work in this first inning. Now 20 pitches in the frame for Ryan Jeans. And now Grove pops this ball up in foul territory off the first base side, right to the fence. And Luke Rogan, the first baseman, is there to haul it in for the out. That brings an end to this bottom half of the first inning. Millford leaves the bases loaded, but they do drive in 2 runs in the inning. And so after 1 full inning of play, it is Millford 2 and Mansfield 1 here on this coverage of Millford High School baseball on Millford TV. Anthony LaPierre getting this bottom half of the second inning started with a bounding ball back up the middle. Charging on it is Consigli, fires to first base and gets it there in time for the out. That was just out of the reach of LaPierre over the pitcher's mound, but a good charge put on by Consigli and a nice throw over to first base to get the out. Anthony Sareva out on just one pitch, and LaPierre will take fast outs in the second inning. He needed 27 pitches to get through the first inning. Now 1 ball and no strikes on the number 8 hitter, Aiden Jones. Mansfield catcher now jumps ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Mansfield with a run on 3 hits in that first inning. LaPierre did collect a pair of strikeouts, but he falls behind the number 8 hitter here now. 3 balls and no strikes. Continues to be ominous skies overhead. So far, we have not felt any raindrops fall. 3-0 pitch hits on the inside corner for strike 1. And now the count runs full, another called strike. Millford looking to bounce back off of a tough, hard-fought game earlier this week, as that pitch drops in too low for ball 4, so Jones ends up working the walk. It's the first walk allowed tonight by LaPierre. But on Monday, Millford was here at Pheno to take on the King Philip Warriors. KP has been good this season. It was a good pitcher's duel in that matchup. Evan Cornelius got the start. Allowed 3 runs on just 3 hits. Had 16 strikeouts in what was a complete game effort. So Cornelius pitched very well. Outdueled by Rudy Gately on the mound in that game for King Philip. So Millford looking to bounce back off of a loss on Monday that ended an extended winning streak for the Hawks. They had won 4 in a row prior to the game on Monday. They had not lost a game since the matchup against North Attleboro that we covered back on the 12th. Meanwhile, back to live action as LaPierre gets the strikeout of the number 9 hitter, Drew Urban, to bring the second out of the inning. That's 3 Ks now for LaPierre. Jones remains at first base, and LaPierre checks over in that direction. Don't often see a lot of pickoff throws when the catcher is on the base paths, but Jones does not have the build of your typical catcher. Looks like he might have some speed out there on the bases, so Millford wants to keep him close. 1 ball and no strikes now on Wyatt Bolduc as we go second time through the Mansfield order. This ball hits sharply over to third base with the runner off on the pitch, but it's a routine play by Joey McGee getting the out over at first base that retires the side. So Mansfield strands a runner aboard. It's a scoreless inning of work for LaPierre, and we'll move right on to the home half of the second inning with the score remaining 2-0 in favor of Millford here on Millford TV. bottom of the second inning begins with a called strike dealt into the only Millford batter that did not come to the plate in the first inning, second baseman Tony Fontes. Facing the Mansfield starting pitcher Ryan Jeans, and Fontes ropes this one down the right field line, but it hooks foul. Fontes and then back up to the top spot in Louis Consigli, and then Damian Carter, the expected batters here in the home half of inning number 3. The daylight continues to fade out in the distance under heavy cloud cover. The lights on here at Fino. And starting to hear now the clatter of some raindrops on our canopy set up here behind home plate. So starting to get some of those showers now, as we thought might be the case. Meanwhile, Fontes struck out to bring a start to the second inning. It's the second strikeout of the night for Ryan Jeans. We were rain-free throughout the afternoon, and typically we'd see these varsity baseball games played in the afternoon. But a lot of night games on the schedule for the Hawks this year, as Consigli pops one up just a shade onto the outfield grass, where the second baseman Drew Urban makes the catch. And it is 2 quick outs here in the second inning. Right now, just a light sprinkle for the time being. Meanwhile, the base is empty here with 2 down in the bottom of the second inning, and Damian Carter looking to extend the frame. As he jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Carter walked and scored one of Milford's runs last inning. And now pops one up foul, and this will travel out of play off behind home plate. The next pitch for Ryan Jeans will be the 30th of his outing. Here it comes. And it's off the outside edge. 3 balls and a strike. If Carter reaches, then that will give Keith Lee a chance to bat in the inning. Jeans back into the windup. Here is his pitch, and it's in for a called strike 2. Keith Lee was about ready to charge up to the plate from the on-deck area, but he has to hold as the count now runs full. And Jeans working quickly. Here is his 3-2 pitch, and it's sent foul. And it remains a 3-2 count. Another payoff pitch, and this is hit hard out to left field. This is going to be over the head of Sareva and over to the fence in left field, and it's going to be an easy stand-up double for Damian Carter, showing some extra base power. The breeze blowing out here at Fino Field tonight, but Carter supplying a lot of that power himself. That ball just kept on traveling over Sareva's head. And it goes as a 2-out double. So Keith Lee will get a chance to bat in this inning. He swings away at the first pitch and pops it up in foul territory behind third base on the warning track. Sam Martin able to stay with it. He makes the catch. Breeze tried to take that ball a little bit back towards the playing surface, but it is out number 3, so the 2-out double from Carter proves to be harmless. We've played 2 now here at Fino Field, and it is Milford 2 And the Mansfield Hornets won. Stay with the coverage here on Milford TV. Getting started with the top half of the third inning here at Pheno Field. Millford on top of Mansfield 2-1. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Scarlet Hawks. A run on 3 hits for the Hornets. Mansfield will bring their 2, 3, and 4 hitters to the plate here against Anthony LaPierre in the top of the third. Sam Martin getting it started. Jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Martin ended up with a bloop double in the first inning, sending a ball into the gap in left center field that was just out of the reach of Jacob Grove. Jacob Grove able to get his glove on it, but couldn't squeeze it for the out. Now he's ahead in the count 3-0, and he will take a 4-pitch walk. So Mansfield now able to put the leadoff man on base. Second walk of the game allowed by LaPierre. And now Matt DeShiro, the shortstop, up for the second time. He singled in his first at bat. Takes a strike here to get started. Down in the count now, 0-2. Some light showers on and off here at the field and a breeze. And the sun setting, the temperature cooling down here at Pheno. This 0-2 pitch is hit a sinking line drive to shortstop, caught in the air, and then airmailed over to first base, out of the reach of Carter, and that will allow the runner to advance. So a great play on the front end there for Consigli, as he was just able to snare that sinking line drive. Might have been better served to let it take a bounce. Might have allowed for a 6-4 3-inning ending double play. Instead made the catch and tried to double the runner off with a quick throw to first base that was over the reach of Carter. And we know from his time on the football field, Damian Carter can haul in a lot of tough passes, but that one was too high for him to pull down. And so an out for DeShiro on the line out to short, and then an error on the throw from Consigli that allows the runner to advance into scoring position. So Martin there at second base with 2 outs, and Jacob Madak at the plate. Put on a professional at bat in the first inning, an at bat that probably lasted about 10 minutes. and saw well into double digits in pitches. Right now, Anthony LaPierre at 47 pitches in his outing, and a number of those have been thrown to this man at the plate, Jacob Madak, who, after making LaPierre throw all kinds of pitches, ended up sending the ball through on the left side for an RBI single. That is how Mansfield was able to get their run. And now sends a shallow fly ball out into right center field. That's down for a hit, and around from second base comes Martin on what is a 2-out RBI double for Jacob Madak. He's able to get to LaPierre again. Drives in the run that ties this game up at 2. And so the error proves to be costly in the inning. That will go as an unearned run. Martin would not have likely scored on that ball had he been at first base, but that errant throw from Consigli allowed Martin to advance to second, and no problem scoring on that ball put in play by Jacob Madak, who now has a pair of hits, a pair of runs batted in. And this game is once again tied. Go-ahead run now in scoring position ahead of Brian Butler. Waves and misses at that pitch. Pitch number 50 of the outing for LaPierre. And now a fly ball hit down the left field side into foul territory. Long run for McGee. It was out of his reach. Nick Koch charging in from left field. The shortstop Consigli giving it a look as well, but it lands foul. Butler will get another chance, down no balls and 2 strikes. LaPierre a look down to that runner at second. Now his 0-2 pitch is lifted out into center field and into the glove of Jacob Grove for the out that ends the inning. So no further damage done, but an error and then an RBI double for Jacob Madak has knotted this game up at 2. I beg your pardon, this inning not quite over yet. That was just out number 2. So another chance here for the Hornets. Getting ahead of myself in my scorecard. Doing a little monitoring of the weather while we continue this game going, so my apologies. 2 outs in the inning. Runner remains at second base now, and a chance for Luke Rogan. Rogan struck out to bring an end to the first inning. And now sends a hard ground ball past the mound, backed up at second base by Fontes. The throw to first base pops out of Carter's glove. He couldn't reel it back in, and this inning will continue. What should have been a routine play to end this third inning. And Carter let it bounce out of his mitt. It was a one-hop throw, getting another look at it here on our end. And the throw spiked there a bit by Fontes. Carter couldn't pick it, and so I think the error there will go on the second baseman. So Rogan reaches on an E4. That ball put in play right as the rain starts to intensify here a little bit. On that play, Madak was able to advance to third base, so it is runners at the corners. Anthony Sareva at the plate. Lifts that ball foul and out of play. Might have glanced off the catcher's gear. Hard to tell. 2 balls and 1 strike. 57 pitches in the game now for LaPierre. Now a called strike evens the count at 2-2. too far inside. Sareva unwilling to chase, and now the count runs full. 3-2 on Sareva. Go-ahead run for the Hornets, standing at third base as the rain comes down as hard as it has so far this evening. Give a quick tip of the cap to our Milford TV intern, Tim Zalewski, who is manning our camera down the first base line and now having to do so through the raindrops. Hoping this shower doesn't last too long. The runner takes off from first base as that pitch is in for a called strike 3. Sareva goes down, and Mansfield ends up stranding 2 aboard. A bit of an adventurous inning there for the Scarlet Hawks in the field, but only 1 run on the scoreboard for the Hornets. We're tied up now at 2 apiece as we will move on to the bottom half of the 3rd inning when we return next here on Milford TV. Well, it is absolutely pouring now here at Pheno Field as we continue on into the bottom half of the 3rd inning. So hoping that our equipment can stand up to this shower. We're hoping very much that it does not last too long, as now Evan Cornelius sends a ground ball to third base, and that one slips right through the glove of Sam Martin. Drifts over to the shortstop as Cornelius will reach, and you got a feel for these players right now as the conditions out there are going to just continue to deteriorate. We were able to get through with just a light shower for a while, but it is coming down quite heavily now, and you can already see things getting slick as Sam Martin could not handle that routine ground ball, and a tough luck E5 puts the first runner aboard for Milford. We'll see if they try to keep playing through these elements as we've continued to try to monitor the radar here on our end. It looks like anything that came through was going to be light, but we've got a pretty decent cell making its way through right now. So we'll see how long they can continue to play through. Joey McGee now sending a fly ball out to center field. Settling under it is Butler. He is able to make the catch. And McGee is retired on the fly out. Not many spots in the state right now dealing with rain, but unfortunately the focus of it is right now here in the Milford area. looks like it'll be with us until at least around 7 or 7:15. So this field, we'll see how the conditions continue to hold up. Nick Koch at the plate right now with a Millford runner aboard at first and one out. And right now the two coaches are coming out of their respective dugouts. The umpires are going to have a chat, but it looks like they are pulling Mansfield off the field. And so we are going to enter into a bit of a weather delay here at the field. And meanwhile, the Scarlet Hawks players spring into action now as the grounds crew trying to get the mound covered up and the home plate area covered up as well. Fans starting to duck for cover, so this was not exactly how we thought the weather conditions were going to go down here. We thought things were going to stay light enough to get this game in. Unfortunately, as we started to talk about earlier this evening, had this game been played in the afternoon, we would have not had any weather problems, but a night game ended up being a little bit more problematic. So entering into a weather delay here. We'll pause here on the broadcast real quick for all of our live stream viewers as we kind of get the lay of the land here from the coaches to see if we're going to try to get this thing restarted. So we'll pause here on the broadcast. We'll be back with an update in a moment. Stay with us here on Milford TV. Well, for those of you still tuned into our live stream here on YouTube, as you can see right now, the field is covered up and we are getting some steady downpours here. It has been downpouring now for at least the last 10 minutes or so. They have put this game into a weather delay. We spoke briefly with Athletic Director Peter Boucher, who said that they are hopeful that they may be able to resume this game in about 30 minutes' time. But we have covered enough games here at Pheno Field where we know that this field can only take so much pounding with the rain. And from our position back here behind the backstop, you can already see now puddles forming all the way around the infield dirt. So the longer this goes on at this pace, the less and less likely it is that we will see baseball return here to Pheno Field tonight. So unfortunately, due to these deteriorating weather conditions, whether or not the game restarts here later on this evening, we're going to have to call it for our coverage here tonight for the safety of our crew and our equipment. So we are going to wrap things up on this coverage for tonight. So unfortunately, we have to part ways here this evening with this game in the bottom of the third inning. It was a good one in the making, a 2-2 tie between the Scarlet Hawks and the Mansfield Hornets. So if this game does end up getting postponed, we'll see if maybe we can perhaps return for the conclusion of this game. But this is all the baseball coverage we have for you here tonight. So we'll try to safely get our equipment out of here. We do have more Scarlet Hawks athletics coverage coming up tomorrow afternoon, as we will be back out at the lacrosse field as the girls team is in action against their Mansfield counterparts. And so that is when we will have you covered next. You can tune into that coverage live once again here on YouTube. So we thank you so much for tuning into this coverage tonight. And we'll be back with hopefully a complete game the next time we're out here at Pheno Field. But that wraps things up here for tonight. A big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand, our director Scott Crisafulli, and our camera operator who got drenched out there dealing with this weather conditions tonight, Tim Zalewski. I am Tim Coat. That will wrap things up here tonight with this game in a weather delay. Thanks so much for tuning into the coverage, folks. We'll talk to you again soon. So long, everybody.